Chair Jaime Harrison.
Hello, Georgia. Let me say that again. Hello, Georgia. Folks, it is so good to be here with you. Now, y'all know I'm from South Carolina, but let me tell you, when I heard that in Georgia we were going to have a party to celebrate 100 days of this administration, I knew I had to get on the road to be here in Georgia with each and every one of you. Folks, we have the President and Dr. Biden joining us this evening. And in the meantime, I want to give a shout out to the Democratic Party of Georgia, led by my friend, Representative Nikema Williams. And I have a lot of folks I need to recognize today. We have my partner at the DNC, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta. We have representatives Sanford Bishop. We have Representatives Hank Johnson, Lucy McBath, and Carolyn Bourdeaux. State Senator Dr. Michelle Au. And of course, we have Georgia's fair fighter, Stacey Abrams. I want to thank all of you for joining us today to celebrate an amazing first 100 days in a safe and healthy manner. I also want to thank you for the strength that you have shown over the past year. Over the past 4 years, really. You stared down adversity and you did not sit back down. Folks, we need you to stay strong for a little bit longer. Because, folks, we are going to make it. We're going to make it because of the work that President Biden and Vice President Harris have done to get us here, and because of the work that they're going to do over the next 4 years. My friends, we've come a long way in the last 4 years. The White House and the Senate were controlled by people who did not care about your interests. Their policies ignored working people. Instead of serving the public, they took every opportunity to serve themselves and their friends. When the pandemic brought this country to its knees, we needed leaders. The Republicans in power did the bare minimum, and we had to force them to do that. They turned COVID relief efforts into a partisan issue. Now, I don't know about you, but where I come from, life and death doesn't mean left versus right. It means right versus wrong. But my friends, what I love about this country is that we fix our mistakes. And the American people turned out in November to fix some very big mistakes. With Georgia leading the pack, you showed patience and you continued to put in the work. And you did not back down even when the eyes of the country were all on you. And the other side did all and everything they could to keep you down. Twice, 2 times, you stood up, you spoke out, and most importantly, Georgia, you voted. You voted for Democrats. You helped us get Joe Biden in the White House, and because of you, you sent Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff to the U.S. Senate. So, Georgia, on behalf of the country, I want to say thank you. Thank you. And on behalf of the Democratic Party, I promise you this: we will not let you down. And in just 100 days, President Biden has proven what happens when you elect actual leaders. He got to work on getting the American Rescue Plan passed, and he fixed the mistakes of the past 4 years. Folks, we are tackling the pandemic head on. No president in modern history has taken office during a global health crisis of this level. But in 100 days, we administered more than 200 million vaccines. We are delivering much-needed help to the American families. In the face of a crashing economy, we cut taxes for families with children. We also delivered 160 million relief checks. And we strengthened the Affordable Care Act by slashing premiums. And folks, we sent almost $1.9 billion here to Georgia to expand Medicaid. So, Governor, it's time for you to do some work and expand Medicaid in here for Georgia. We are making investments to rescue and build our economy, folks. The Biden-Harris administration has created more new jobs in the first 100 days than any administration in history. 1 million new jobs. We also extended the small business loan program, and we provided relief to 4 million small businesses struggling during the pandemic. Folks, this is a government that delivers for the people it represents. But don't forget, President Biden didn't just promise to get us back on track. He promised to build back better. The American Jobs Plan will not only help us rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, because y'all, I know in South Carolina we got potholes as big as I am, and I'm sure y'all got some here in Georgia too. Let's fill those potholes. And Joe Biden's going to send the money to do just that. But this plan will reimagine the American economy. The United States will be more competitive on the world stage, and we will continue to set the standard for global innovation. And we're not going to leave anyone behind, y'all. We will not leave anyone behind. Communities of color and rural communities will gain access to broadband and clean water, because we can't claim to lead the world if we don't lead and help our own people. Our investments will allow us to take on the climate crisis and move to a clean energy economy. We're going to continue to help families address the cost of health care and child care. We're also going to help families address challenges like paid leave and education. This all happened not because of the people who stand on the stage or who will stand on the stage. This all happened because of each and every one of you. It happened because you were tired of the talk and you demanded action. It happened because you were tired of the games and you demanded leadership. It happened because you were tired of elected officials working against you and you demanded that public servants work and do their jobs. And because of you, Georgia, people around the country finally have hope again. They see that the light is at the end of the tunnel and it's filled with opportunity. It's filled with a nation that is healthier, a nation that is safer, a nation that is more prosperous, a nation that is more fair, a nation that is more competitive. My friends, the president summed it up with 3 words. America is back. America is back. America is back because of the past 100 days of rescue, repair, and renewal. It's back because of you, and together we're working to make it better than ever. So now I need y'all to do me a favor. We need you in this fight. If you are ready to join us in this work, to continue to build on the things that you all started last November and again in January, if you are ready, I need you to pull out your phones. Pull out your phones, y'all. And what I need you to do is to get ready to send a text. Text WIN, W-I-N, to 43367. Again, that's WIN, W-I-N, to 43367. Folks, I am counting on you. I need you to tell your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers. I need you to tell everyone who will listen about everything you heard here today. Tell every person you see on screen or in person that President Biden delivered. Tell them that Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, and Democrats in Congress delivered. Tell them that President Biden delivered COVID relief and set a proper plan for vaccinating everybody. Tell them that he is actively working to make our schools safe. Tell them that he is doing his job as a leader. Folks, our job is to make sure everybody knows about this. And you have to help me tell the story. And we have to tell the story in our greatest time of need. It was this president and Democrats in Congress that stood up and delivered for all of you. Folks, I can't say thank you enough, but I want to say it one more time. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, Georgia. And folks, I am happy to welcome to the stage one of the architects to make sure that, we are building back better. But she helped to make sure that the Georgia Democratic Party was doing what it needed to do in order to deliver for the nation. Folks, do me a favor and give a great welcome to the Congresswoman and the chair of the Georgia Democratic Party, Nikema Williams.
Bring me a higher love. Where's that higher Hello, Georgia. Y'all, I'm Nikema Williams, the chairwoman of the Democratic Party and your congresswoman down in Georgia's 5th Congressional District. Welcome back to Georgia, President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden. President Biden, I am so thrilled that you chose Georgia to celebrate your 100th day in office. And I don't know about y'all, but I watched last night's joint address with so much pride, because it is assuring to know that we have a leader in the White House whose main concern is working for the people. He is truly an example of servant leadership, something that we've been missing for way too long. Y'all, in Georgia, it's a new day, and in our country, we have a new administration that has already shown their intention to work for the people, and that includes all the people. The last 100 days have been spent putting America back on track by getting vaccines in arms, money in pockets, and putting people back to work, and something that's way important to me, our children back to school safely. Thanks to President Biden's leadership, we have over 200 million shots in arms and are finally turning the corner on this pandemic. And I was so proud to join my colleagues in Congress to pass President Biden's American Rescue Plan, which is now signed into law. Along with getting our students back to school safely and putting money back in the pockets of struggling families, individuals, and small businesses, President Biden's plan has mounted a national vaccination program that sets up community vaccination sites and addresses disparities that we know we're facing in our communities of color. Thanks to his leadership, we finally turned the corner on this pandemic. We've scaled up testing and tracing, addressed shortages of PPE, and invested in high-quality treatments. We've increased access to more affordable health care, including incentives like states in Georgia who unfortunately still haven't found the political courage to expand Medicaid. These new incentives would extend coverage to more than 500,000 people in the state of Georgia alone. Y'all, that's a big deal. I won't say what our president might say. The American Rescue Plan sends more than $4 billion in relief to K-12 schools, allowing school districts to not only address safely reopening, but to address the learning loss that happened over the past year during the pandemic. And I can tell you that as the mom of an Atlanta Public Schools kindergartner, my Carter cakes, I know that I speak for so many parents when I say thank you. Because y'all, virtual kindergarten was hard. I know it was hard on kindergartners, but it was hard on the adults too. Now, if you haven't received your STEMI yet, it's on the way. More than 6 million adults in Georgia will receive checks of up to $1,400 per person directly in your bank accounts. That's 88% of all Georgians, 88%. Y'all, the American Rescue Plan will cut child poverty in half with the child tax credit. Families will start receiving monthly checks as early as this summer, and we're just getting started. We're gonna be bold and visionary, rethinking America's infrastructure and creating millions of jobs in the process with the American Jobs Plans. And y'all, these are gonna be good union jobs. We're investing in families by expanding access to education, extending the child tax credit, and making sure that every child's future is bright. And last night's announcement of the American Families Plan is the hope that our families and communities need in this time of uncertainty. The American Families Plan will provide economic security and justice to families, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to contribute to our economy and care for themselves and their loved ones. Y'all, it goes beyond helping American families meet the needs of today. This plan powers the innovation and growth of tomorrow through historic expansions and access to quality education and childcare. Every 3- and 4-year-old will be guaranteed access to preschool, every child. Childcare will no longer be a financial burden for working families. And finally, America will catch up with the rest of the world and guarantee 12 weeks of paid family leave. Y'all, our president sees and understands the obstacles that we face in this country. And he's proven every day for the last 100 days that he's committed to working for us, the people. But none of this, none, y'all, would be possible without you, Georgia. Y'all, we came together as a community to send the first Black man, Reverend Raphael Warnock, and the first Jewish man, John Ossoff, to the United States Senate, representing Georgia. And y'all, Georgia was pivotal in electing the first woman as the Vice President of the United States of America. We broke norms and glass ceilings in 2020, and I have no doubt that with your help, we'll do it again in 2022 and 2024. But y'all, now it's not the time to rest on our laurels. There is still so much work that must be done, and we must start now. I'm encouraged because we're building political power across this country. We're seeing more people involved in the democratic process. Voters here and across the country, y'all, they know what those of us who've been in this fight have always known. Change is possible. Georgians have a history of showing up and making our voices heard, and we've proven to the nation that we demand justice and equality for all. More people participated in Georgia's runoff election than they did in the general election in November. Y'all, that's unheard of, and people didn't think that we could do it, but we did. And we must continue to defend our right to vote, the right to affordable health care, the right to equality, and the right to live out loud and on purpose. Y'all, our collective power is stronger than anything that those who want to silence us can throw our way. Because when Georgians voted for change, change happened. When Georgians voted for affordable health care, change happened. When Georgians voted for real leadership to get us out of this pandemic, change happened. And Georgia, our president, our Democratic Congress, y'all, we're gonna keep fighting for you every single day. Because Georgia voters, y'all did that. So while today is about celebrating the incredible progress of the last 100 days, thanks to President Biden and Vice President Harris, y'all, I know that we have a bright future ahead of us. And I'm so grateful for the real change we're making for our country and for our children. And most of all, I'm in awe of the millions of Georgia voters who made their voices heard, who called for change and permanently changed the trajectory of this country. Georgians, again, y'all did that. And I know that we won't let anyone turn back the clock on progress. And I can promise y'all that it's not gonna happen on my watch. Because y'all, this is only the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you again for coming to this Getting Back on Track 100 Days of the Biden-Harris Administration Drive-In Rally. We're so glad everyone is here this afternoon. Please listen for a minute as we share some important safety announcements. Once your vehicle is directed to park, please do not move your vehicle. For each other's safety, please maintain social distance throughout the duration of the event. We ask that you remain in or with your vehicle. The only reason to be away from your vehicle is to use the restroom or pick up food at the local food trucks around the perimeter of the lot. Otherwise, if you cannot touch your vehicle, you are too far from it. Wearing masks is required throughout the duration of the event. Don't forget to put on your flashers and show your enthusiasm by honking. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to CAU student Amaya Crockram.
such a shooting star. And tell me, how high did you soar? Ever felt like you were dreaming, just to find that you're away, and the magic that surrounds you can lift you up, and now you're on your way. I can see it in the stars across the sky. I've seen 100,000 trees before, now I finally realize to see I waited all my life for this moment to arrive. Finally, I believe. Ever look out in the distance? Never was that far. No, no. Heaven knows your existence, and it's true to everything you are. Oh, there's a time for every soul to fly. It's in the eye of every child. It's the heart that loves to save the world, and oh, we should never let it go. Yeah. I've seen 100,000 trees before, now I finally alive to see I waited all my life for this moment to arrive. And finally, yeah, I believe in the impossible. Won't let this dream just fall apart. Yeah, overcome every obstacle. You see, this is where I start. You see, I try to be the very best. I shine a light for all to see. 'Cause anything is possible when you believe. Yeah. I've seen 100,000 trees before, now I finally realize to see I waited all my life for this moment to arrive. And I believe. Yeah, love keeps taking me higher. Love keeps taking me higher, 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 higher. Love keeps taking me 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 higher, higher, higher. Love keeps taking me higher. Love keeps taking me higher. And finally, I believe. Thank you.
Let's give a loud and warm welcome as she takes the stage, Congresswoman from the great state of Georgia, Carolyn Bourdeaux.
Sure thing, do what you want to do. I can tell you who to sock it to. If you want me to love you, maybe I'll wait. Believe me, woman.
All right. Good afternoon, Gwinnett. Once again, we find ourselves back in the center of the political universe. And today, it is my privilege to welcome back to Georgia and to the 7th Congressional District, the President, the First Lady, Senator Ossoff, and Senator Warnock. Today, we celebrate the 100th day in office of President Biden, and it is only natural that he come back to Georgia and to the 7th District, because this is an important place. In 2016, many of us looked at a political map of this area, and this area was colored a pretty deep shade of red. But I, and many of you out here, knew something, that map was not written by the hand of God. That map needed to be changed, and that map could be changed because we are the map makers. We set out to change the map because we believe in a country that is diverse and inclusive. We believe in a country where we recognize the cultural and economic strength brought by our immigrant communities and the moral authority of the Black community and its calls for justice. We believe in a country where we care about one another and we recognize the need to invest in health care, in a world-class education, and infrastructure so that our children have opportunity and we unlock the door to the American dream. We believe in a country where democracy is grounded in freedom and justice, and where we came together as a community from diverse backgrounds and many walks of life to stand side by side with our Black friends and neighbors and to attest and to affirm that, yes, Black lives matter. We believe in a country where our government is run by people who are competent and who are ethical, grounded in science and reason, so that we can tackle the pandemic and get our children back in school and our economy back on its feet. We set out to change the map, and we did. Not only was I the only competitive Democratic pickup in the country and a critical race for holding the Democrats' House majority, but those of us in the 7th, we weren't done on November 3rd. We turned around and we threw ourselves into those Senate runoffs. And we saw some of the largest growth in vote share in the state, in this district. Mr. President, Georgia delivered to the nation a governing majority to get things done on behalf of the American people, and the 7th Congressional District delivered Georgia. We're not here, though, to celebrate political victories. We're here to celebrate the victories we've had in getting things done for the American people. Thanks to Georgia, thanks to the 7th District, we're able to pass the American Rescue Plan, get shots in arms, money in pockets, help families and small businesses make it through this crisis. In the first 100 days, we delivered more than 200 million vaccines to Americans across the country, including more than 6 million right here in Georgia. Between schools and state and local funding, Forsyth County is receiving more than $50 million in relief. Gwinnett County is receiving almost $450 million. But more than that, the President recently signed into law at the end of March a bill that had its origin right here in the 7th District. In January, Tony Rodriguez and Carol Ann Pence, owners of the Aurora Theater in Lawrenceville, came to me and said they were concerned about PPP loans that were set to expire at the end of March. So I worked on a bipartisan and bicameral basis, and we passed legislation, one of the few pieces of legislation, to pass Congress and go to the President's desk. And the President signed this legislation into law at the end of March. And because of this, small businesses are able to get critically needed funds until the end of May. But we have so much more to do. The House has passed H.R. 1, the For the People Act, to protect voting rights and to assure nonpartisan redistricting. But we need this bill, and we need John Lewis's Voting Rights Advancement Act to make it all the way through Congress and to the desk of the President. Because the work we do here in Georgia to engage voters, to change that political map, is not just about addressing deep public needs and good public policy, but we all know that the work we do in Georgia is about the democracy itself. And most fundamentally, it is about our right to vote. And all of us, all of those speaking today, all of you out there, is a veteran of long battles over voting rights, many of us veterans over long voting lines. We have had to fight for our right to vote at every turn. The House has also passed the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act to reform policing and address injustice. And Mr. President, we need this bill to make it all the way through Congress and to your desk. The House has passed the Dreamers Act and the No Ban Act to forbid a ban like a Muslim ban, to protect our diverse immigrant communities, and we need these bills to pass and make it to your desk. The House has passed common sense gun safety bills. Many of our families grieved over the shooting of members of our Asian American community. And we need these bills to pass, make it through Congress and to your desk. We need to tackle and to ensure investment in infrastructure so we can build the green economy of the 21st century. We need to make sure that everyone has quality, affordable health care. And we need to make sure that our children have a world-class education, which we know is so critical to unlocking the door to opportunity and to the American dream. Like so many of you, last night I watched the joint address of the President. And I deeply appreciated the President's message of hope and unity and the call to deliver for the American people, to get things done. During these past 100 days, the President and the Vice President, they've been honest with the American people. They brought them together, and we together have gotten a lot done. But to paraphrase a great American poet, Robert Frost, we still have many promises to keep and miles to go before we sleep. Thank you again, Mr. President, for coming to Georgia's 7th District and coming to Georgia. We are here to deliver on the promises you made and the promise of a greater America. Thank you.
Let's give a warm welcome to Leader Stacey Abrams.
I think this is a celebration, so let's hear it. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days after we got Georgia in line and in the blue. 100 days after we sent Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff to the U.S. Senate. 100 days after Georgia came through for America again. That is worthy of celebration. But we're also here to talk about what we are recovering from, why we have to get back on track, because this nation has suffered from 4 years of hypocrisy and amnesia, 4 years of lying about who we are and forgetting what we're about. 4 years of misinformation, misdirection, and miscommunication. But America is back on track because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. 100 days of greatness. You see, my friends in Congress have talked about what's been accomplished. They spoke about the importance of getting shots in the arms of millions, hundreds of millions of Americans. They've talked about the fact that we have delivered economic recovery, so long promised but finally delivered. We've lifted children out of poverty, we've lifted people out of sickness, and we've lifted depression into hope. That is what we've done in 100 days led by Joe Biden. We remember, you see, we didn't have the hypocrisy of saying that we wanted to believe in family values but not care about families. That's why Joe Biden did the American Rescue Plan, and that's why he's fighting for the American Families Plan. Because you see, he understands that you can't say you love families if you don't care about their children. You can't say you stand for families if they can't go home and take care of one another when they're sick. You can't say you believe in families if you don't believe in getting them vaccinated and getting them health care and getting them all the way through education. But he didn't stop with the American Rescue Plan or the American Families Plan because he understands that our economy is back. And that's why he has the American Jobs Plan. You see, we have a country where some hypocrisy has been running rampant, where we said we want to create jobs, we just don't want to help anyone create those jobs. We want to create jobs, but we want to pay anybody for doing that work. We want to create jobs, but we don't want it to cost anything, do anything, or be anybody's responsibility. Well, Joe Biden said no to that. He said that he's going to put his presidency where his promises were. And that is that he's going to stand up for infrastructure, for rebuilding this nation. But we're going to go further. We're going to build for the future. That is why we're celebrating the first 100 days. Because we've got a president who doesn't suffer from hypocrisy, but he also doesn't suffer from amnesia. You see, when he said that he was going to stand with our families, he did it. When he said he was going to fight for voting rights, he's doing it. He didn't stand silently by when people were harmed. He put a Justice Department together that is taking people to court and taking justice back into our hands. We've got a president who understands that talking about being green isn't just it's not just words that we use, it's a belief that we have to hold. Because you see, climate action is happening whether we want it to or not. I mean, look, guys, it's not even May in Georgia and it's already hot. But the heat that's here in Georgia, the heat that's rising across this country, is a heat that's on fire for change and for real action, for rejoining the Paris Accords, for putting money into clean energy, but for investing in those communities that have been left out for so long. That's what Joe Biden is all about. We've got 100 days behind us, but we've got a long way to go. And you see, the way we get there is the work that we've been doing, the work we've been anchoring here in Georgia in the fight for voting rights. You see, last night Joe Biden called out for action, for bipartisan action, because in the amnesia category is the fact that for so many years, voting rights was a bipartisan endeavor. Through 2006, it was Democrats and Republicans who fought to renew the Voting Rights Act. It suddenly, though, after 2013, Republicans have forgotten that they were part of the architecture of getting good done. Well, we're inviting them back to the table. But we know that voting rights has to be done because that's where all of our other rights are grounded. And we need the For the People Act because the people need relief. Bills like SB 202 here in Georgia and the terrible versions of it around the country are looking to steal our voices and take our choices, and we will not stand for that in this democracy. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris understand that voting rights is not about partisanship, despite what some people would have you believe with their clever slogans and their fun taglines. When you tell somebody that too many people showed up, so you're going to shut down the opportunities, that too many people mailed in their voices, and so you're going to slow down their opportunities. You see, voting rights is not about partisanship, it's about citizenship. And we are Americans standing together. Because when you hear Joe Biden speak, when you've heard him talk about voting rights, you've never heard him say he wants voting rights for Democrats or voting rights for Republicans. When he talks about the American Rescue Plan, he didn't say he was going to rescue blue states, not red states. He said he was going to rescue the United States of America. When he said he wanted an American Families Plan, these weren't Democratic families or Republican families. These were American families. And when he said he's building American jobs in the American Jobs Plan, these aren't Democratic jobs or Republican jobs. These are American jobs. And these are anchored by American voting rights. And that's why we need the For the People Act to pass. That's why we need the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act to pass. Because in a democracy, in our nation, our pledge to one another is not that we always agree, but that we always have the right to speak. Our promise is not that we win every election. God knows that's not the promise. But the promise is we get to be heard in that election. That is how we get the rights we need. That's how we get the policies we need. That's how we get the future we deserve. And there is one man fighting every day to make that so. And that is why I am so excited to be right here today as we get back on track and focus on the next 100 days with Joe Biden as our president, with Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff as our senators, with our extraordinary congressional delegation, and with the people of Georgia leading the way, because we're back on track and the future belongs to all of us. Thank you all so much. Take care.
loves me like you used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves. There's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. And I'll take some time, but I'll be alright. We're moving on. We're moving on. I know times are
Lands bottom.
Doesn't take much to make me happy and make me smile with glee. Never, never will I feel discouraged, 'cause our love's no mystery. Demonstrating love.
Good afternoon, Georgia. I know we've got a lot of special guests here, including all of you. We got Hank Johnson, Congressman Sanford Bishop, Nikema Williams, Carolyn Bourdeaux, Calvin Smyre, Billy Mitchell, Patsy Austin Gatson, Jaime Harrison, Lucy Macbeth, and Sam Park. Let's give them a round of applause. I am Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. In America, there are 50 states, over 19,000 cities, 3,006 counties, 14 boroughs, 64 parishes, 11 census areas in Alaska, and of course, the District of Columbia.
Our President and First Lady could have celebrated their first 100 days in office in any of these places, but they decided to spend it with us in Gwinnett County, Georgia today. We should all be proud of that. Now, for those of you of a certain age, you may remember a great love song written by Quincy Jones named 100 Ways. Does anybody remember that song? James Ingram sings this song, and he's telling this guide how to show the lady that he loves just how much he appreciates and cares for her. Now, I sing it for you, but I don't want to scar y'all for life. He sings, love her today, find 100 ways. Now, you may find it odd that I would mention a love song today, but after the past 4 years, I don't know about you, but I needed my president to show me just how much he loved me and all of America. And in just 100 days, President Biden and Vice President Harris have found 100 ways and more to show us how much they care. Our democracy has been battered and bruised over the last few years, but we are still standing, Georgia. And across America, I am so proud that people like you continue to step up and support candidates and policies that ensure that we are all valued, no matter our race, our creed, sexual orientation, or income bracket. In just the first 100 days, the Biden administration has over-delivered on life-saving policy in action. With over 200 million shots in arms, more than half of U.S. adults have gotten one shot, and 2/3 of all seniors are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Honk your horns if you've been vaccinated. But even with this success, too many of our loved ones are still dying. People like my friend Lauren, whose funeral I attended just last week. So if you've not yet been vaccinated, please think of families like Lauren's family and her only son, Andrew, who will graduate from high school in just a couple of weeks and won't have his mom by his side to celebrate with him. While it's too late for Lauren, the COVID-19 vaccination really is a shot of hope for so many across the globe. And that's why I am so thankful that we have a president and vice president who keeps our families top of mind and will not rest until this pandemic is behind us. You can honk for that. In the last 100 days, President Biden has not just found 100 ways to show us that he loves us, Georgia, but 160 million ways. That's the number of individual relief checks that have been sent out across the country as a result of the American Rescue Plan. These checks have been the lifeline for business owners like Long Tran, who you will hear from shortly. Democrats are also expanding small business loan programs to support those hardest hit by the pandemic. In 100 days, relief has been provided to 4 million struggling small businesses to help keep their doors open. But we still have so much work to do. This year alone, Republican state lawmakers across the country have proposed over 360 laws to restrict voting access, and it's not just here in Georgia. We are seeing similar bills in Arizona, Florida, and Texas. But our hero, Congressman John Lewis, taught us well. And while he is no longer here with us physically on earth, we are reminded that the vote is the most powerful nonviolent tool that we have. And we will use every single tool in our toolbox to continue fighting voter suppression laws across the country. That is why we must pass the For the People Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. And while we continue to protest and litigate, we must show up and vote, and that's right, get in some good trouble. Now back to the love song that I told you about, Find 100 Ways. It goes on to say, somebody said sing it to you. I'm not gonna do that. Maybe she has it in her mind that she's just wasting her time. Ask her to stay, find 100 ways. Well, when we showed up to vote in November, was it a waste of our time, Georgia? When we showed up to vote in January, sending not just one, but 2 new senators to Washington, was it a waste of our time? I didn't think so either. Over the last 100 days, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have reminded us why elections matter. And it will never be a waste of our time when we all join together to vote and make a difference in this country. Thank you, President and Dr. Biden, for in just 100 days, for finding more than 100 ways to show all of America just how much you care. We love you, and may God bless and keep each of you. Thank you.